Pugs Parker is he. Pugs Moran is me. Welcome in. Also, look at this guy. It's E. Look at him. He's gone invisible for 420.
I love when he does that. That's magic.
How trippy would it be if he just like emerged from the wall? Like, what if he did? You ever seen those like Nah, never mind. That's ruined. Thought maybe he was wearing one of them camouflage suit. Oh, what do we got going on here? Got like, what the hell is happening? He's performing.
He rode in a Mardi Gras float because that's a costume for a Mardi Gras crew.
No, well, I don't know. I'll tell you what's going on here. Something that would fit right up on stage with George Clinton and the P-Funk All-Stars. He's got like a Bootsy Collins thing happening. He's got a
Erlenmeyer flask.
Wait, one of the guys in Parliament Funkadelic, Chozo the Clown. Are you familiar with the P-Funk All-Stars at all, James? Are you familiar?
Oh, yeah. I saw him at the Granada Theater on Greenville.
Okay. Who's the clown? What's a Ballsy the Clown? That's kind of who I think Emil is emulating.
Yeah, right.
Not at all. Not at all.
I think the guy that was wearing the diaper when I saw him is just a grown-ass man wearing the baby Huey.
No, it's
way, didn't he?
The real guy. Hold on.
No, I know what you're talking about.
Stozo. It's Stozo the Clown. It's Stozo. Hold on. I'm going to pull him up for you. That's kind of what
how dare you not allow me my own personality?
Well, you are certainly working within the realm of Stozo the Clown. I'm just saying you are to the show what Stozo the Clown was to P-Funk.
I am actually in a throwback.
Okay.
Kind of a mood today, you know? And I want to shout out to you and to Brandon for bringing some joy to my favorite day of the year. Like if there is a day in the year like kids look forward to Christmas, I look forward to 420 like kids look forward to Christmas.
Yeah.
And I thought, how dare I appear not looking as festive as I possibly could, and to proceed with you fellas down the the show road. So here I am. I don't know when it is that I get an opportunity or a segment. I know I'm growing into that, but when you guys call on me, I am ready tonight. I'm good to go.
All right, very good. We're looking at a picture of Stozo the Clown from with George Clinton's little comedic sidekick for all those years. Let me find some more elaborate Stozo.
He's a little more buff than I am.
There he is on stage with a couple of P-Funk dancers. That's Bozo. No, I don't want Bozo. I want Stozo.
Man, this slideshow is scaring the hell out of me.
There he is. That's him today, Stozo. That's just him walking around the streets of New York. There's Stozo back in the day, I guess. I don't know. Oh, no, maybe that's Stozo now. There he is. That's Stozo, how he walked. He looks like he's doing a radio interview, doesn't he? Like the radio studios?
Yes. No, he's like a college radio studio because it has the nameplate by the door.
Anyway, yeah, there he is. Well, he was one of the Parliament Funkadelic George Clinton entourage guys who were always up on stage when they had like 50 guys on stage. But he was the comic relief. He was just up there dancing and doing wild stuff. He was a funky clown. You can imagine how he moved. A funky clown.
Oh, for sure. He had white man moves.
No, I'm thinking he had really good funky dance moves, and he was a clown that could really get down. Actually, that's what it was. Stozo the clown who can really get down.
Yeah, and even if he was awkward, after the first 200 shows, he probably honed his skills a little bit. He's probably an amazing dancer.
Yeah. And, he probably started out as the guy who wrangled the cords, you know what I mean, backstage for the crew.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel illegal in this getup.
Well, you should.
Glasses.
I think maybe you should go with that. What do you boys want to do today?
Why do you think it's the glasses?
I want you to explain the glasses. Like, what the hell is that? Ski glasses?
These are ski goggles.
Okay.
Yes, goggles that I wear when skiing, and I feel like this was also a look that the girls in Vail and the guys in Vail adopted late night in the clubs. That you would see them on the dance
Wearing their
floor,
ski
and they would have their ski goggles on. And so I thought, that would be kind of a cool concept one day to just go out and say, like,
So like Bill Gates's asshole, 20-something kids might be in one of these, exclusive play. That's how they would dress on the dance floor after a day on the slopes because they're still wearing the gear.
Yeah, like literally, I ran into Donald Trump, and back then his wife was that Ivanka.
Go way back.
Way back.
This is previous life. More nuggets from Emil's previous life that he will not go into. But if you watch this show enough, you can piece together enough of the story. All right, tell us.
No.
So back then, I'm in Aspen. This is when I when I got my tibia plateau fracture, like in that kind of era, like in the late 90s.
Yeah, nobody cares. Move on. Better stuff.
Yeah. So anyway, so I'm in Aspen, and we're going to the Caribou Club, which is basically in Aspen the cocaine all night long club.
What year are we talking? Give me a year.
98, 99.
Oh man, I bet it was great to be Emil in 98, 99.
And so we're going in there, and if just things being weird like they were, because
tell us, Patty, tell us how they were weird.
Well, it's the Caribou Club in Aspen, and it's a very small town.
You say that like we should know what that is, James. Am I wrong in this? I don't know what the Caribou Club in Aspen is. I barely know what
Aspen is like.
Clubs are like in Aspen. I've barely been to clubs, okay? Much less clubs in Aspen. I've never even been to Aspen. No,
I love Emil as the lovable voice of the 1%. I just love this role that we're carving out for.
Yeah,
I don't know how to explain it. It's like if you've been to Aspen, you'll know what it's like. Aspen is a small little ski town that's kind of fashioned after.
We don't know what that's like.
Like after something like in Switzerland, like up in the mountains, like little, very homey and villagey. It's like very much like that.
Like so Switzerland. Surely you've been to Switzerland.
Right. Yeah, like your nanny would take you. The governess would meet you there, Right.
Was when Daddy was on the run from the authorities and we had to stay at Auntie's home in the Swiss Alps.
Impeccable banking, I hear.
Okay, so yes, so that type of crowd is there.
So, but can I ask questions about the crowd? Okay, so we're 1998, some Aspen exclusive, like hoity-toity club. So, like the women, dude, were the women just like
off the chain, like yeah. I mean, because it's this playground of where people from Mexico come, people from South America, so the world comes to play in Aspen.
And it's one of those places where if you think maybe you recognize that girl from Baywatch, it's probably the girl from Baywatch, right?
Yeah, exactly. Or you'll run into, what's the guy that played the psychiatrist, Kelsey Grammer?
Oh, really? Yeah, I bet he was big at that.
Frazier, like he's there and he's skiing, and so you'll just see a lot of elite, people, because that's the place to be in Colorado. Anyway, so Trump was in there, and tying that back to right now in Dallas, guess who else was in there back in the day? Because that's when his fighting career had taken off, but it had taken off over in Japan.
Shamrock.
Guy Metzger and Trey Tegelman.
Trey Tegelman.
Tegelman. They were in there that same night. And so that was like our Texas-Dallas connection.
Look at that. You had your boys. Ain't nobody going to mess with you.
You already knew them.
Well, I mean, boys, in as much as we knew each other, we were all from Dallas.
Man, let me just
but
say
those
something. Hold
guys
on,
were
wait a
badass.
second. Wait a second. I said it must be really cool to have been Emil back in 1998. But Guy Mesger and Trey Telligman, first of all, these two guys, they look like pinup models. They're like these beautiful,
yeah,
these
just killing it.
ridiculously beautiful men. And then they're like world class ass kickers, like global ass kickers. Like they got to go over to Japan and kick everybody's ass over there. But man, and then them in 1998, and they're getting to hang with like all this. Oh man, James, I want to be there. What kind of music were we listening to?
It was like what you would expect at a club that was doing MDMA or drugs like cocaine. I mean, those were the drugs that were prominent at that time still.
You know what I was doing in 1998? In 1998, I was dragging my first wife from dirtbag club to dirtbag club looking for indie bands because I was on an indie radio station. I mean, yeah, I saw like a lot of, like I could say I saw the Pumpkins in a small club and all that stuff. But man, I'd have much rather been in Aspen partying with a bunch of MMA guys and supermodels.
It may have been 97. Maybe.
Whatever. James, what were you doing?
Yeah.
That's a Saturday night for E in 97. Tell us about a Saturday night for you. Mine was, I was married already, or getting married or engaged. What was your 1997 Saturday night like?
Oh, man. So I guess I would go to 420, 1997. Where was I? I don't even know where I was.
How old were you?
I'm not saying I was in Vail at 420 in 97. You were asking me about the glasses.
I think I'd gone to college, got a job in Dallas, and then went back to college, and then I think this is in the 1 year I went back to college. And
No. You missed the point. Just where were you on a Saturday night in 1997?
Well,
I was like a stupid, ugly club. Emil's at like a fancy Austin high-end cocaine celebrity party. Where were you? I was in a dirtbag rock club, alt club. Where were you in 1997?
I think I remember where I was on 420, 1997.
Okay, exactly. Okay, so you're giving it exactly. Okay.
And there's I think it still exists. There's a gay bar in Longview called Decisions. And this guy that we work with, Ben, was one of the drag queens. And so they would go out there and they would have the show, and there would be 5 of them, and they would lip sync a song, and then based on crowd reaction, someone would win. And what they would win is nothing really. I don't know. But it was like really weird the first time we went, but this was like the 4th time we went or something, and I think it might have been the last one we went to. But I remember because that was I ran into this guy that I went to high school with, and he's like, "What are you doing here?" I'm like, "Not what you're doing here."
Not the same thing.
And he's like, "No, it's not like that." I'm like, "Darward, we were in theater together. Everybody knows. Everybody already knew. It's no, it's not like that. Darward, it's okay. It's okay. You're in a gay club. It's fine. Relax."
So, finish your Trump story. You never told us the Trump.
Oh, no. So he was there, and he was in the corner, bottle service, type of a club. And he was in the corner. He had his section, hot girls all over.
Although, you're saying 97, 98. I believe he would have been with Marla Maples by then. I think that was.
Maybe that was it. I remember really good-looking girl. It might have been Marla Maples, whoever that was back
Tiffany's
then.
mom. Tiffany Trump, the forgotten Trump kid. She's that's her mom. She was the one that got knocked up. He was cheating on her. She was a Broadway actress, and he was cheating on Ivanka. Ivana? Which one?
Ivana. He was cheating on Ivana with Marla.
Yeah.
And then Tiffany looks damn nearest I've seen the human form of an anime drawing.
She looks a lot like her mom, but if you took all the worst parts of her mom.
Oh.
No, her mom is gorgeous. Right. Her mom was a smoke show. And she looks like her mom, but just like, how Don Swayze didn't exactly look like Patrick Swayze? That's all I'm saying.
No, it's like the Frank Stallone.
Yeah, just a little different. And those one thing that's different changes the whole. But Tiffany Trump is a beautiful girl, but her mom, Marla Maples, was gorgeous.
All right, and statute of limitations gone. What all drugs are you on?
In 1997?
Yeah,
back then. Yeah. Back then, in terms of like the crew that I'm with, and excluding the UFC fighters, they're not included in the crew. The crew that I'm with, it's cocaine, it's ecstasy,
Good
and
ones.
it's
It's all the
weed.
good
Like
ones.
those are the three drugs that are there. And then on the prescription side, it would have been Valium. You know, pretty much. At that
See?
point, there wasn't really OxyContin.
No.
It was just like you had a Valium for when you took coke all night long, and then you just wanted to zonk out. Then you take the Valium, you close the blinds, you put down the air conditioner to about
Ooh,
like 50
that's a
degrees,
movie star
it,
death right there. He's
and
describing a
and
movie star death.
It's a comfortable
and
death,
and,
though.
It
and
is.
you just kind of chill out there and sleep it off. A lot of those are also kind of Vegas stories. They kind of run the same. When you get to Vegas, it's like all the vices in the world are there, and you're exposed to
Especially
them.
when price is no option. James, what kind of drugs were you on Saturday night, 1997?
Alcohol and weed. Man, that's probably it. I didn't really start doing anything harder than that until '99, and then I just did everything.
Yeah. Now, Saturday night, 1997, I'm going club to club. Maybe I'm smoking a little weed with some guys backstage. I'm drinking beer and whiskey. That's pretty much it. On the off occasion, a friend in a band or something would want to get crazy. Maybe we'd do mushrooms. But that would only happen once or twice. So,
Yeah, I kind of.
I'll give it. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say I kind of fell off a cliff. I had like some personal people close to me die, and like my grandmother, who was sort of like my second mom, like lived down the road, and I stayed with her every day after school. Like she died on me when I was like 20, and so I there was a point where I just sort of fell off a cliff, and for about 4 or 5 years, if you put a drug in front of me, I'd do it. I didn't care if I died.
I think I met you in those years. I think those were the early years that I knew you.
Okay, statute of limitations is gone in this particular instance. I can give you the first night I was in Dallas. Very first night I was in Dallas, 1985.
Woo.
What I did.
What'd you do?
You want to know? You want me to go into the story?
Yeah.
Okay, I get picked up out at the Willow Bend Polo and Hunt Club. If you know where the Willow Bend Polo and Hunt Club is out in Plano. My mom lived out there in one of the developments right across from the Polo and Hunt Club.
So probably some rinky-dink apartment complex across from the Polo and Hunt Club.
I have flown in. Listen to this. I have flown in from Buffalo. I've only seen my mom for 1 week a year for 17 years. And my dad is now going to federal prison. Okay.
Which is a story we can get into.
Which we can get into because all the statute and he's gone and so he's going there. So I'm like, well, I think I might want to go down and check out living with my mom. And so I fly into Dallas to come and see her. And so I'm here and I land the very first night.
It sounds like 1985, right?
85. So a good buddy of mine today, a guy that I don't know, my sisters knew, says, hey, I'm going to take you out for the night. I'm like, okay, cool. He goes, get dressed up in a suit. So I get dressed up in penny loafers, gray slacks, blue blazer, shirt and tie. Picks me up out there. We go downtown. We go down McKinney Avenue. We end up at a high rise at this place, and it's called Latour.
All right, so wait, where is this?
1985.
1985.
Latour, huh?
No, Latour. Where is Latour in Dallas?
Latour is on McKinney Avenue. It's a high rise, like down there. So I go into Latour. There's a front guy, a man, and I tell him, hey, I want to see this dude. He's invited me over. Oh, go on up there. We go on up there, open up the door. There's a bunch of dudes from Dallas. I'm the dude from New York, and they've all got like zoot suits on. Like like their pants and their coat match. I'm like looking like I showed up at the country club like Biff, kind of.
Because you
with
just
the blue...
come from the Polo and Hunt Club.
No, I didn't. I came from Buffalo. Like that's what Buffalo looked like. It looked like gray slacks, kind of traditional, the penny loafers, the Boston loafers. And I'm trying to go out dressed up with a suit and a tie on. That's my look. These guys are all suited out. I'm coming down to Dallas. I'm thinking I'm going to see cowboy hats and belt buckles, and I see them suited out. we get there. We go to McKinney. We're on McKinney Avenue. We go to where Knox Henderson is. There's a club called the Rio Room. The Rio Room is a tiny, small, little shoebox
Who
of a
are these
club
people that you're
existed.
meeting again? Who are these people? You're just getting picked up. You never told us, James. There are so many questions I have. It's just
Friends of his
My
sister.
sisters, my
you dwell
sister's
on the most
friend.
unnecessary details and just gloss over the most important
I'm glad
ones.
I'm frustrating you. That's awesome. So, my sister's friends, they're going to take me out for a night because
New
they
kid
said,
in
hey, my
town. We're
brother's
taking him
coming
out.
in
Let's
town.
show him the town.
New kid in town. So,
So you
they
go to
take me out.
Latour,
So I
you-
go there. I get to Latour. I leave Latour. They got a fancy car. They put me in a fancy car. Or we go over to this place called Rio Room. We pull up to the Rio Room. Very small club, like shoebox, like 7-Eleven
I got a
size
question.
ish.
Stop.
Right over.
All right.
Yes.
These are your sister's friends?
Yeah, she's
So
going
these
to
are a bunch of
SMU at
chicks.
the time. No, this
Okay,
is
that's
a
why I was
dude. The dude, and he's in a fraternity at
Oh,
SMU.
jeez.
Okay, and he's like,
he's gonna-
college age.
right.
I'm 20. I'm 22 at the time. 20. Let's see, 85. Yeah, I'd been 22 at the time. So I'm 22. So I'm going out. So we go to the Rio Room, small little place. Every car before I walk in the door is like a Mercedes, a Ferrari. It's got to be some foreign like car, or it's not even
Sure.
parked right there. You walk in the door, you go into this place, and it's all like supermodels looking. And mind you, I'm coming from Buffalo, New York. I've never seen anything like
We
this
should
in my
also
life.
point. This is the area, or maybe just after. But you know, the SMU was a very big destination in college at that point. It was the Pony, the
1985.
Pony Express, man.
Yeah.
I mean, Eric Dickerson,
Exactly.
and so that area was bumping. I mean,
So it
I mean,
was a
first of all,
happening.
it's rare
it was
when a
a-
football team is the number one team in the biggest football team. It's rare when that team exists in an urban metropolis like Dallas, where that.
and cocaine was
Right.
flying
It's a
like
much
snow. Cocaine was flying like snow. So there's a line to get into this small little club. This guy's obviously got some clout. We go through the club. There's a doorman there, and the doorman there hands him a little packet. And I see it like, because I had watched Scarface literally that year. It had come out. I now know what
So are you
cocaine
painting
is.
yourself as a
And then-
rube from Buffalo who's being exposed to the excesses of the big city for the very first time?
I'm saying that they were as advanced, if not more advanced, than the group that I saw up
Okay.
in New York.
So-
like that.
so
That's
Dallas
what I'm
was a
saying.
different
but this
level.
wa-
You
Okay.
mean the group where your dad's going to federal prison and y'all were taking?
No. My dad was never in the
James,
drug.
they were-
Like that was not his
James, they were
thing.
much harder core than Tommy Hamburger and Vito the Chin and all the guys that he was used to up there in
Well,
Buffalo.
I know. I'm just saying maybe he saw.
No, back then, drugs and the Italian side, that was something they didn't want to mess with. Like that was
Right,
like
but
still
bass
kind of
boating
little.
in Cuba. That's cool.
International espionage. All right, so this is when you're recruited into the CIA. So it's your first night in Dallas.
No.
Yeah.
So I'm there. So we're there at the club. So we go through the place, and I see, and we get the little bag, and so that was my first night in Dallas. And so we're up there in the corner booth, and inside this club, guys, this is 1985. You could see in the men's urinal, like there was a glass wall, but it had glass
don't like
blocks, and you could see into the men's urinal. And I was like, where the hell am I? Like literally I had gotten dropped down into like space. Like it was so not like portrayed on the
All right,
show
speed it
Dallas.
up,
Like
speed it
where
up.
it was
The
like
story's
all
been
that.
too long. So what drugs
Anyway.
did you do? That's really all we wanted.
Yeah, more about the drugs, less about the urinals.
Yeah, more drugs. See what I mean? The unnecessary details that he gets so into describing.
I did coke
First
that
time?
night, and I did ecstasy. No, ecstasy for the first time that
You
night.
did ecstasy in 1985. You were like one of the first 500 Americans.
It was
I
legal.
know.
It was
I know,
legal back
but you
then.
act like it was the first time I did ecstasy. I'm like, it's the first. You did ecstasy before like 99.9% of everybody else on the planet. Well, yeah, because it
Really?
started in Dallas. Well, you know that, right? We all know the story about ecstasy, how it started in Dallas
I really
in
all I knew is
1985.
that I could go to the
That's what I'm
Start
saying.
Club.
Okay, see, okay, stop, because this is all really interesting stuff.
We've all heard the Start Club commercials. These are legend. Anyone in the chat room, speak up. Well, see, Ballard's not going to know because he's in Iowa. But everyone from Dallas, y'all all know what the Start Club is, right? Because I got sick of hearing about it after I moved to Dallas. After about a year. Oh, man, I was around back in the 80s. You go Start Club, they just have a bowl full of X, man. People think it's like a handful.
I would go to the Start Club all the time.
So let me just give you a little context here. Ecstasy was developed in a lab and they did nothing with it. It was around forever. A psychologist, psychoanalyst at SMU, he started experimenting with it. And SMU, there you go. Brandon Shaw says right there, an SMU professor created it. I don't know if the SMU, I think the Nazis created it actually.
I think he dug it out of the archives.
Right, yeah, I think he found a use for it and started experimenting with it.
Our 420 hero of the day.
So what this guy, this SMU professor, researcher, whatever he was, what he was also was a therapist, and he held sessions in his Highland Park home with struggling couples in Highland Park couples who were going through difficulties looking at divorce. They would go to this guy as a therapist and he would give everybody ecstasy, and he repaired everybody's marriage. He repaired it. And he became super well known, and he became really hard. Like everybody wanted him to fix their marriage. And that's how the drug sort of got popular, because people who were going to him were going, hey, can I get some of that? And then suddenly it became a thing in the Start Club, which was a club that was frequented by the very same people that he was treating and dealing with in Highland Park. And now what the Start Club was this extremely extravagant Dallas nightclub in the 1980s that was built, designed, and the money was spent to rival any club in the world. That was the whole idea behind everything bigger in Dallas. So that's what the Start Club was. And in the day when Emil was there, and he's just talking about like it's an aside. Meanwhile, James and I are like, no, this shit's legend. What do you mean? I remember. The Start Club was famous for handing out free ecstasy. You would go to the club, you would dance, and they would give it to you for free because it was legal and it was really not widespread.
And it was cheap.
It was. That was.
Did you do ecstasy at the Start Club?
Hell yeah!
See, that's the man. Come on! That's
like you would go. Right, you would go to the Start Club after the alcohol club.
Hold on, I got another
closed.
Dallas icon question for you. Okay, all right. So we checked the box that says, have you done ecstasy at the Stark? Have you had sex with a Dallas Cowboy cheerleader? Oh,
no.
Really? I really would have thought that was a yes. Okay. All right.
No. No.
No. Okay. All right. Wait, let me amend that. Have you had sex with a stripper who performed as a Dallas Cowboy cheerleader?
Well, we all know the answer to that. Any stripper can perform that way.
And just like anybody. Okay, there you go. All right. So the Start Club. So you were there. Was it as crazy as they say?
Oh, it was like it was awesome. I had not seen a club, and even though I had been to that club was just way out there, different.
Too different for Dallas. It was all like trans people and.
It was noticeably gay. I mean, it was noticeably gay to the point. At that point in my life, it was the gayest club I had been to.
And you meant that literally.
You know what I'm saying? At 22 and being from Buffalo, New York, and going into the Start Club, there was a certain time on the stairs. It had this long stairs that went down. And what was that song?
Lion Sleeps
Tonight.
Okay.
Lion Sleeps Tonight. Remember, what year did that come out?
Probably, isn't that from the 70s?
I don't know. I'm just curious.
Yeah, so Lion That's from the 70s, yeah.
Right. Okay, and then they would like just take that and they would mix that into like one of these like and they would get up on those steps and they would start all going one way and then the other way and then they'd be just kind of dancing. There'd just be nothing but dudes on this whole like staircase of steps that went down into the basement, and then in the basement there would be these like hidden like tunnels, and there'd be private booths underneath, and it had huge. I mean, it was like it had layers and layers and hidden. I mean, it was the craziest thing ever. It was so cool.
Here, guys, let me show you this. I found this. This is on YouTube. Can we kill all the noise? I'm hearing a bad static in my headphones. Somebody got an open channel. There it goes. All right, so watch this. You might be interested in this. I think I saw this, James. Maybe you did as well. The documentary that was made about the Stark Club. This is the teaser, the trailer.
I didn't know it existed.
So this is what we're talking about here. This is the trailer for the Stark Club Dallas documentary.
I got so tired of hearing
Dallas, Texas. Here was this city that just felt brand spanking new.
Paris and New York and London and then during the 80s you had Dallas and they were like, what the fuck are you talking about? Where the fuck is Dallas?
And that set the stage for this club, the Stark Club.
Jeez, man.
Hey, the staircase.
Anything like this. This is like a museum.
There's the staircase.
I knew this was completely unique to anything I'd ever seen before.
I would call Philippe Stark a modern surrealist.
Big, crazy-looking elephant doors like you'd see on a stage, maybe.
Those are the
Had
doors.
an otherworldly kind of feel.
The three-legged chairs that people always fell out of.
The classic Philippe Stark chair, the Miss Dorn chair, he's a visionary.
Look at these floors. What is this material?
In many, many ways, what he's trying to get people to do is to wake up and open up and look at the world around them in a very different way.
The sunken dance floor and the screens with the light panels and the amplifiers right there and the big Stark logo right in the middle of everything.
Two sets of draperies that are tied back give a sense of
I don't even know what building that is. Where is that?
The drapes.
That's the
Descending
front
into
of the
balcony.
building. The doors were right underneath there.
Sexuality
The,
was on
the
fire
wall
back
would
then.
be
Philip
stupid.
Stark really
the
likes
line.
to play with a play of sexuality,
It was before HIV. It was basically a new sexual revolution going.
an object of desire, a play of sensuality.
It was pretty easy to jump in bed with a hot woman.
There are references to phalluses.
I would see the weirdest shit sometimes, man.
There are references to sex in space.
I saw this guy and this girl just banging away.
Very much a revolution to get people to
True.
wake up.
And his girlfriend was just blowing him like no tomorrow. Right there on the floor, man. They didn't look at me like, oh, we're
Yep.
busted. They just looked at me like and paused for a moment, and then they got back to having actual sexual intercourse. Ecstasy was legal
Yep.
in the beginning.
Here's
They
ecstasy.
would sell the drug right over the bar.
This drug made me happy.
He didn't have the connotation that he has now.
It's about pleasure.
This drug gave you a whole new outlook on the evening.
It's Stark. You know, everything flowed, everybody flowed. There were no borders.
The coke and the alcohol did destroy a lot of people, I think. You know, it was not a secret.
Not E.
that the Stark Club
Look at
was
E.
full of drugs.
He's streaming live today,
I think it was the DEA or
just like
busted
Stozo the
FBI.
Clown.
I mean, the bust was a huge bust. There was enough pills on the floor to feed a third world country, you know. The penalty that he was enforced
When they
was that
busted
you
it.
could not dance.
Was that actual video of them throwing all of the ecstasy out to the crowd?
That was
Because
confetti, bro. That was confetti.
that was
That was
confetti. Oh,
confetti.
okay.
It's not a secret. It's music, techno.
All right. Well, anyway, we don't have to watch the whole damn thing, but that's the club that we're talking about, where he just so, casually was like, "Oh yeah, you guys ever hear of the Stark?" We're like, "What? You've been to the Stark?"
I forget the gap. But it's an
Bruce,
important
I
gap.
used to sit at Bruce Kahn's knee and listen to him tell me stories of the Stark Club because apparently he used to be there a lot. I don't know. You ever run into Bruce back then?
Back before Bruce was porno Bruce. He was nightclub
Yeah.
Bruce.
He ran a bunch of nightclubs.
He ran a bunch of nightclubs. And that's when he lived in the same building that I lived in with Ron Chapman, when the building burned down that I talked about.
Did you guys not
when-
like
what's
each
his name
other?
died.
Was that a thing that I remember from that you guys like Bruce? All right, James, did you know this? Because Bruce was one of my closest friends and Emil was one of my closest friends. But the only reason that they would be in the same room together in 2005 was because they were with me, right? And suddenly, I just always got a vibe that I reunited two people who had known one another from back in the day and didn't particularly hang or, like.
No, we did. You're right. We didn't hang, and Bruce has passed away now, and so there's only this version of the story that I can tell as far as what was going on with me when I thought about him. So Bruce had these clubs, and he was a well-known dude, and he liked girls, and I like girls, and so we would run across some of the
Your
same
Eskimo
girls
cousins.
in the
You're telling me
the-
that's the problem.
Bro,
You and Bruce were
No.
80s Eskimo cousins.
dude, you're in a metropolis of millions. And
I'm saying so we're running sometimes in the same circles because I'm running with the crowd that's going to the clubs. He's one of the club owners. I think he owned maybe 3 or 4 clubs at that time. And back then, like on Monday night, this club would be hot. On Tuesday night, this club, and so all clubs seemed like they had their night in Dallas, like at least or a couple of them on a certain night. And so we would always be going out every night of the week. And so we would hit that scene and we'd run into Bruce. And then Bruce would be like, hey, I'm the club owner. I'm trying to have a hot chick. And we'd be like, hey, we're coming here trying to get hot chicks. So we'd be running over hot chicks. There was one particular girl that lived with Bruce for a little while. And when Bruce and I were living in the same building, she broke up with him. And so like 3 or 4 months later, she calls me up and she's like, hey, da 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 da. And she told me where she was working. So I went over there. I hooked up with her, and I think she might have told Bruce. And so I don't know if that was kind of the weirdness, but there was really
the reason I bring it up, it's not that I know of any instance or that Bruce ever said anything other than this. Bruce said to me randomly once, and Bruce is gone, and I love him dearly. And he died tragically young of cancer. It's out there. Everybody's got to run from it sometime. Bruce told me once randomly, just we were out, back in the day when we were all out doing something, we were out together.
Right,
He just,
right.
again, randomly, apropos of nothing, he just said, hey, man, you know what? The way Bruce, I don't know if when he got serious, he got real sort of soft-spoken. Hey, man, you know what? I got to tell you, I really, I really didn't like Emil very much. But he's a really good guy. He is a really good. And I go, what?
Well,
That's why I thought maybe there was an issue between you guys back then.
Well, the other thing that I can think about, honestly, like if I go back to, because remember that building burned to the ground.
Could it also be that he was a club owner and maybe at that time you were running with a crew of people? Weren't you involved in some illegal activities back then? Could that have been part of it?
No. Well, what? No. Well, yes, but it could have been that. No. It could have been that. It could have been that. But I'm going to go even deeper than that. I think really more so. Also, what I thought it could have been was we lived in the same building. Okay, and so at 2:00 in the morning, all right, we would be leaving the clubs and we would be heading back to our place and we'd be having the after party in our decked out, upstairs, downstairs, cool.
You're young people
place
with lots of money. That's how you party.
where Bruce was also living as a club owner, so he had a cool place, and Ron Chapman obviously had a cool place. So this was a small little building. There was like 8 or 9 units in it. And so I think Bruce probably wanted to go to bed is what I'm saying. When he got home at 3 and 4 in the morning, when he'd be getting home from the clubs, he was probably tired. And we still had a bunch of people moseying around our hallway or coming in through the parking garage, because if there were 8 units, I think only 4 of them were full, or 5 of them. There were a bunch of vacant ones, and then it burned down. So yeah.
What the hell just happened to James?
And then the other thing is too, what I liked about Bruce is when he heard me on the radio at 105.3, he actually called in on the talk line. He said, "Hey, do you remember this is Bruce from Holland?" And I was like, "Oh, sure, of course." And so he made the introduction but yeah, there was always, I think, that initial friction because of who I was at the time
because you just wanted to go up.
in his building. Well, and I had been busted on TV like 2 weeks before by Marty Griffin, so there was that.
I don't know where James went.
I don't know. Maybe to smoke. Why would he smoke?
I don't know. I
So
have no idea.
yeah, why would you smoke off camera on 420? I mean, after you have been to Sacred Oils, you just don't need to worry about anything.
Did you go
on
420 shopping? Is that what you're telling me? You went 420 shopping?
I am telling you that Christmas and 420 are two of the best days in the year. For me, it's 420. For my kid, it's Christmas.
Okay.
And today I treated myself like I was my kid, and I went 420 shopping to Sacred Oils right here. And I am telling you that the oils are sacred, and that if I were you and you are looking for pain relief in any aspect of your body, that Sacred Oils can take care of your problem.
Hey, dude.
Where'd you go?
And you don't even know
Hold
where
on,
I'm hurting.
Where'd you go?
The power just blinked. It came right back on, but that means my computer and everything, my router and shit rebooted.
All right.
I'm about to log back in.
All
Sorry
right.
about that.
We miss you. No big deal. Just
I know.
I was worried.
Already.
So
All right, there you go.
why'd you leave?
We just explained why. God.
Just because Bug Tussle doesn't have power, he thinks he's allowed to leave?
Not at all. All right, let me show you something, E. I want to show you something. We'll watch a video while we're waiting for James to come on back in here. I want to show you something, and I want to ask you. Wait a second. Where is it? There it is. Here, let's watch this. Actually, I got two things I can show you here while we.
I want to show
What do you got
something.
to show me? What do you?
I'll show you.
All right, here, watch
go
this.
first.
All right, I want you to watch this video. Tell me what's going on here.
All right.
All right, here we go. Wait a second. We'll start it over. All right, so it looks like, all right, so this looks like a security camera. Do you see the guy with his back up against what looks like maybe a refrigerated soda machine or something like that?
Yeah, the guy in the middle with the white
blue
shirt.
jeans.
Yeah.
All right, now you see the
him?
little girl walking in front of him? She looks like a young little whatever.
She looks like she is about to advance forward with her left foot.
Wearing red.
Her
She's
left
wearing
foot's
red,
ahead.
right? She's got the red on. All right,
Yep.
let's watch what
I got
happens. All right, so she's walking by. Look at her. She is all right. Look at what she's doing. Look at what she's doing to the man. Look at this. Are you seeing that?
It looks like a little graze.
It ain't a graze. She's
getting a
locked
little-
on, my friend. Here we go. We'll play it again from the beginning. I just wanted to make sure you knew what you were looking for. Okay, so here you go. Watch from the beginning and watch what happens. There she goes. She's gonna get. Oh yeah, she holding on. Oh, damn! Now watch. Oh, now he gets hit. She's beating the hell out of him. What is going on here, E? I ask you. You're a reasonable man. What is going on here? Why is she beating on her man? He was just standing there and he got his joint grabbed by some really frisky girl. Now, don't get me wrong. What happened to little girl there was deserved. Little girl deserved to get thrown on her ass by mama. Mama just went, that is my man, and just ragdolled her. What you tell me?
Well, I mean, I can tell you the rationalization if you want
Yeah.
to go through it again. So that's where he's guilty. Okay, like so the amount of time exactly that's what he gets slapped for. She had to take care of the first problem, which is her.
She hanged
Right,
on to.
right.
Oh, mama, throw
Right.
her down. Now watch. Bam! I love it.
And then he got the extra slap, and then she gave another one because he was back talking. See, he didn't know when enough was enough. Right there, he's like, "Why'd you do that?" And she's like, "That's why." And then he's like, "What?" And then she gives him another one. And then she goes over and gives her another one.
Face plant. So you think that this is okay? I think it's a little bit excessive. I think that that's fair. What happens right there? This is boom. I think she hits him for no reason.
It lasted. The hand grab lasted too long for him to not have reacted. Versus just giving her a look like, "Hey, what do you want me to do about it?" Like,
but he never looks at her. Like he doesn't make out like boom. Okay, so.
No, here he does. This is where he goes, and he gives her a look, and she looks at him, and he kind of gave her like, "What do you want me to do about it?"
No, he immediately looks to
Right
his
here.
wife. He look because the wife. Look how fast, man, like a kitty cat. That wife pounced. Look how quick she's
Right.
up. Boom.
That's what I'm saying. His. It's right here. He did nothing.
What's he supposed to do?
He's supposed to at least back up. Like he could like move his feet. He made no move whatsoever with his lower body. She's grabbing onto his joint. If you're a dude and the girl's grabbing your joint and you're liking it, you're not moving. If you're moving, then your wife is not going to slap you. If you stand there and let her do it, she's going to give you a slap.
James, welcome into the Pugs and Parker with E Court of Pubic Opinion. You've seen the tape. Weigh in.
Yeah, and I didn't even hear either one of your responses or even go through the commenters here, but we all know what the proper etiquette is in there. Because the onus is all, look, this is all 100% on the wife. If some cute young lady comes and grabs your husband by the junk, you're immediately, your responsibility as a decent citizen and wife is to start making out with her.
Okay. All right.
Well, I like your perspective, James. I don't know that we'll have a bunch in your corner, but let's open up the phone line.
She chose violence. I'm choosing love. There's a fork in the road here when a beautiful young lady grabs your husband's junk, and you can either choose violence or love. I choose love.
Here's what I'd say about this and why that's brilliant. Because in a situation like that, you're instantly stunned silent, or at least paralyzed by the idea that this is absolutely absurd. I can't believe that she would have the gall to do this. So at that point, with James's scenario, what he's doing, advocating for, and I agree with, let's David Lynch the narrative. Let's just turn it on its ear. Let's start making out. I like it, James. Let's get the wife in there, tongue down the strange girl's throat. Now we're having a party. Now who's feeling weird? The girl who grabbed the junk is feeling weird because she's like, I didn't expect that.
So, yeah.
Yeah, but you're not going to be able to talk your wife into that.
No, that's why you got to marry cool. You shouldn't have to talk. Your wife knows to instinctively do that. Am I right, James? That's if you married a cool woman, that's how she knows how to behave.
If he's going to lay down his wife and do that, I'm going to
She might. She's a party girl.
First off, my life is awesome, but it's not that awesome. Second of all,
fair enough.
The dangerous thing you just said, because I don't begrudge anybody, their fantasies in life. But the dangerous thing is, like, how do you get your girl to do that? You definitely do not be the guy that's training the circus lion, okay? You go find a girl that's already into that, and then you insert yourself in that situation, but you trying to convert this situation. This is what happened to Sigmund and Freud, bro. This dude got his neck bit off.
You can't build the Frankenstein. The Frankenstein has to come fully assembled and operational.
She's either born that way, or maybe she's damaged down that path, and so you have to walk these other tightropes.
So then therein lies why he got slapped, because he let it linger longer than one would let it linger instead of moving backwards.
It has been my experience, and I can't take credit for this. I just married like a really hot chick. And so any one of your mutual friends, like if there's someone that's a friend of both of us, I think about 8 different couples have propositioned like, hey, are y'all into the lifestyle? Or like, what are you talking about, like Amway or Mormon or something?
Tupperware parties? What are we talking about here?
And so, look, I know that's not a lot. We've been married for 13 years, and we were together for like 3 years before that. So, that's like once every other year. But it still kind of feels like a lot. Like
Yeah.
we get proposition like once every 2 years, and we're not trying. It's not like we're going to swingers clubs and getting proposition. This is just us in our normal life. So I'm kind of
So is this in Bug Tussle? So are you saying there's a high? You think there's a higher percentage of
no.
swingers in that
It's actually
population?
been pretty smoothly across all of my different.
Yeah, I mean,
Oh,
let's be
okay,
honest. For the
okay.
first 10 years of their marriage, they lived in New Orleans. So there's probably a lot of that going on in New Orleans.
God. Oh,
I'm sure that's where most of the approaches occurred.
Yeah. Hey, by the way, half the people in TV are down with that. They're swingers. Like
Yeah,
there's.
by the way, have you been in Bug Tussle a year yet? Have you crossed the
Oh
line
yeah,
of Bug
yeah,
Tussle?
and actually we got proposition pretty quickly here when we moved to Bug Tussle.
Oh,
Just tell
really?
you, it was just a mutual friend of ours, and she was like, "Hey, if y'all are into that, I am totally what."
Well, you are the guy that's flying out of town with your wife's best friend, staying in a hotel, and supposedly watching a football
Supposedly
game.
watching a football game, yeah, like that's just a front. Like we would fly to Tampa just to.
No, James. He raises a very good point. A point that I have struggled with. I don't know how you're allowed to do that. But hey,
Well, but I mean, if I were a swinger,
Right?
and I was going to try to pick up on
we all
some
assume you're having
signs-
sex with her. I mean, I don't know that. You've certainly never given that suggestion.
Oh, I don't think
I
they're having
because I
sex
don't
at
think
all.
James can control himself, and I think she's probably into it too. And maybe that's just a whole secret world they got going on down there between the three of them.
No.
Oh,
Oh, I
look
know.
at you,
I know.
you dirty
And look,
fool.
I can't get out of this without sounding like a complete a-hole. So I'll just run.
You know what? Yeah, you're right. Okay, so anyway, was swinging a big part of that lifestyle? The big when you were because I can tell you that when I came to Dallas, swinging wasn't a thing in Chicago. Didn't exist. It's too Midwestern there. It's just that's like what that's weird. People wouldn't be into that. But when I came to Dallas, man, I was immediately thrust into and we've established the 105.3 was the skankiest radio station, but a very large part of that station was built upon the alternative lifestyle sex crowd. And one of the first people to try and wrangle me to come out to their parties and stuff when I got to town was some DFW Nights organization, which was like, I guess they published swinger parties and strippers. And man, I went to a couple of those parties. They were in this funky hotel off, like, I think John Carpenter, like down there. And it was my first introduction to that. I mean, I had seen HBO's Real Sex, you know what I mean? That old HBO series where they would delve into weird, sexual fetishes and stuff. So I knew what swingers were, but I'd never been exposed to it in real life until I came to Dallas. And I was like, oh my God, everybody down here is a freak. Everybody is a sex freak. And they all go to church on Sunday mornings, which is so weird.
Not all of them, but yeah,
A lot
Bobby and Ken Goldberg were definitely in the scene.
Well, that's who adopted me very early on. I wasn't going to say the names, but there you go. Those are exactly who I'm talking about.
Go ahead. Hey,
I never participated, for the record. Anyone who knows me knows that I wouldn't, but I'm just pointing it out there.
The question was, had you ever been exposed to swingers prior to Dallas? And my answer as somebody coming from Buffalo, New York at 22 years old was no. I had never been exposed to swingers before. Tying back to where we started the very first night I got here, and I went to the Rio room and I got the cocaine and we were up in the back booth. After, when it was 2:00 in the evening, we went back to Latour to this party, and interestingly enough, you ask, I saw swingers for the very
At the
first
Latour
time.
party?
At the after party on the first night that I was here. I was in this downtown looking condo. I remember seeing downtown, and it had a long hallway and there were like 3 bedrooms. And so I was leaving the kitchen where everybody is at the after party and heading down the hallway and looking to go in the bathroom because I had to take a pee. And I opened up the bathroom door, and as I opened up the bathroom door, there was a girl and her breasts were out, And there was another girl and this girl whose breasts were out, I knew her to be single. And the girl who's had the whiteout, remember the whiteout? And she was drawing on her breast. She was painting on her breast something. I don't know what, but she was painting on her with that. Was doing something. And the girl that was married's husband was right behind her. So there were basically two hot girls and this dude in the bathroom. And they were introduced to me as married. He was a high-end attorney. And they started making out right there. And I like shut the door.
Yeah, that's
and
weird. I
I was
don't want to
like,
be a part of this. Yeah, I'm like, I'm
Wow.
out here. All right, hey, before we run out of time tonight, have we decided, are we doing something tomorrow? What's the idea?
We are going to the all-day remote, the 7 to 7.
Okay, so
Free.
is it 7
We're
to
not going
7? Like, are they serving breakfast there? Where is this place?
They say 7 to 7. That just means 3 shows are going to be broadcast.
yeah, the morning show, they probably won't open till 10. The morning show will do the show, empty.
Empty room.
Yeah.
Hey, I don't mind doing
Come on
that.
down, promoting the midday show.
When I'm in radio and they make me do a remote and I'm in a room where there's not a crowd, that's fine. I don't care.
Well, it's the all-day remote. The morning show hypes it all day long. Come on out after drink. What they're really going for when they put the morning show on live from the place is they want a sold-out house for the afternoon show. When people are coming off work and, I'm going to stop by there on my way to work. Yeah, it'll be fun. Where's it at? Does anybody know where it's at? We should invite people if they want to come meet us out there. Any of the people that hang out in the chat room. Tomorrow at, do we know?
Richardson. What's the place in Richardson called?
7.
Old 75.
Yeah, that
wasn't
sounds
it?
right.
Hold on. Let me find it. I'll find the actual promo for it. Well, you guys can talk while I do this. You don't have to.
Yeah.
So James, one of these things I'm doing is illegal.
Yeah, so that could be Delta 9, which is totally legal. Smoking indoors, however, might be wrong.
It's not legal. It's the smoking indoors that is the problem. All right, so here.
Sacred oils.
Bro, in the house, you know what I think would be really cool if you set up a studio in that dining room that has the 2 walls that are just totally glass.
All right, there you go. Can you read this?
But
Can
it'd
you
be
guys...
so loud when it rained. Oh, you found
Okay,
it.
I'm about to enlarge
All right, so
it.
it's a triple remote. 97 won the freak. A triple remote. Friday, April the 21st, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. It is at the Old 75 Beer Garden. Okay, it's 740 740 South Central Expressway. 740 South Central Expressway in Richardson. It's right off 75. 70. So what is 740? So that's
between Beltline and Spring Valley. Is that,
Dude, if we had nut sacks, we would go out there at 7.
yeah, we
don't
don't have nut sacks.
no, man.
we do not have nut sacks.
Yeah, I already have 4. My nut
Why?
sack is retired, man. I have 4 kids. I can sleep in. Damn it.
Pugs, you and I could get out there at 7
Nope,
in the
you
morning.
probably could, but I don't think I
Why?
could.
We could bring out some like
Ah.
tacos,
What
like
good
get some
would it
breakfast
do
tacos.
you? It's not even open, sir.
Yeah,
Would
it's
you hang
it'd
out
be
in the
too
parking
weird.
lot and
They
listen
wouldn't
to
even let you in. I don't even know if you can go out. Although they seem to be inviting people out there. Who knows?
Take
I
a
don't know.
lawn chair and hang out in the grass like they've been doing.
So what's our point in going? I thought we're
Well,
going to get
yeah, when
drunk,
it's
so we need
open.
as many hours as
When
we
it's
can.
open.
Open.
It opens at 7. It says 7 to
I don't think they
7
expect
p.
anybody to be there.
But I'm not bellying up to a bar at 6:09 a.m., bro.
Oh, are you saying that the remote is from 7 to 7 but the beer garden probably doesn't open until
Look,
probably lunch?
Let me tell
Is
you
that what
something.
you're
If
saying
I
to
am
me?
drinking at a bar before 9 a.m., I better be at a funeral or it better be opening day. That is like the only reason. Maybe St. Patrick's Day.
Mardi Gras.
We'll be out there around 1 o'clock, right? Is that what you're thinking?
Dude, I'm celebrating tomorrow
All right.
morning.
Well, you enjoy yourself. I'll meet you there. Well, I'll meet you there. We're gonna have a nice afternoon. Who knows how long we're gonna stay, and then see, this is interrupting our trip up to do manual labor up there at the pot farm.
Well, there's a lot of times in life your plans get interrupted.
My weekend is going to absolutely suck. It's going to start off like super high. We're going to have a really good time tomorrow. And then we got to wake up at like early in the morning. Oh, no, wait, we're not driving. No, wait, we're going home after this remote, right? We're sleeping in our own beds tomorrow night, yes?
Oh, of course.
All right,
Of
good.
course.
All right, never mind. I was panicking there for a minute. James?
One of these things I'm doing is illegal.
Maybe. We're not sure. James,
Jello in the weed hat.
James, we learned a whole bunch about the complicated Texas Delta 9, Delta 8, what's legal, what's not. We learned all about this today, and we're both more confused now than we were before.
Oh, I'm not confused. If you want to feel good, go to Sacred Oils. And don't worry, like 8, 9, 10, whatever it is, Delta my ass. Just Sacred Oils.
Legal hemp can get you there.
Hemp. I apologize.
Well, I did a
Hemp.
little more research, and I've
Sacred.
actually come to a conclusion on this because I live by one of my mini mantras is "What would Young Gravy do?" And he prefers Delta 9 to Delta 8.
Oh, Young Gravy?
Yes, Young Gravy. So
Yes, I've noticed you wearing that bracelet that says, what would Young Gravy do?
Yep.
Hey, if I'm going to be honest, this isn't illegal. The smoking indoors might be illegal. It's the shirt. The shirt, dudes, is what got me in trouble.
Okay, I don't know what he's talking
cliffhanger. M. Night Shyamalan. He springs us on this at the end.
I know. What could go another 40 minutes on that? He can't do that. He can't bait the hook like that.
Well, I was in this club and it had like a staircase. And they
All right, everybody, go away now. No, there is no noon show tomorrow. We have a whole bunch of stuff that we have to do. And yes, I know we just said we're going out to lunch, but there's work stuff involved with it. So sorry about that. No noon show tomorrow. No noon show tomorrow. Love you all. See you tomorrow. No, Monday at noon. Bye, everybody.